And it will be Saturday night in Death Valley.
Well, it's not Saturday night. It's freaking Sunday night.
And all guns off. It's not Saturday night. We're not in Death Valley.
And we got smashed. Okay, so I'm Bradley Schneller. I got with us Coach Shane Bohr here on the Louisiana Saturday Night podcast. We're about to discuss how LSU got kicked right in the face all night up and down the field.
Bullied is a nice word.
Yeah, that's why I titled this podcast "Bullied," because we got smashed. I mean, I don't. It's like the wheels came off, completely. I felt like we were shooting ourselves in the foot in the first half, and in the second half, Florida State flipped a switch, and I have never seen LSU look so small time as they did in the second half.
It was one of those games that going to halftime, and we have the lead, and I would say most LSU fans thought, man, it should be a lot worse, right? And Florida State's just like thanking the heavens that they're even in this game. I mean, it could have easily been 28-0, maybe 35-0.
Yeah, look,
to start that game.
We got comments all over the place. I imagine LSU fans are probably pissed off after this game. I don't even know what to think. I don't know if I'm upset, pissed, mad, disappointed. I got all this stuff. But John writes in, hey, yikes, LSU's been blown out 3 of the last 4 games. Has Kelly been exposed?
Look, it's first of all, everybody timeout. It's week 1. All right. Everybody I wouldn't put too much stock into any win that was out there. And I certainly wouldn't overreact to any loss, right? Everything you want is still in front of you. You got a reality check tonight. It looked like we believed the hype. Right? Our guys are from the coaching staff on down. You listen to Kelly's comments coming into the game. We're going to go to Orlando and kick Florida State. Well, all right. So that went on their bulletin board, and they just kicked our teeth in, right? So little reality check here. But, right, you can still run the table. I know you don't think that we're that type of team, but I think we played a much better game this year than we did last year.
Well, we shot ourselves in the foot a lot less this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's great or not. Okay.
No, but look, there's the coaching world. We always talk about making the biggest leap from week 1 to week 2 because it's the first time you get real film, real game experience for people, and you can coach people up a lot more in this 1 week than you will an entire summer.
All right, we're going to get to all these comments as we go in. I want to get into the game a little bit, recap it a little bit, our thoughts on that, and then we'll bring in some of the comments as we go. But, we start out this game. I love the first 2 play calls of the game. What'd you think about that?
Yeah, look, most offensive coordinators script plays, right? These are our first 10, call them openers, right? And maybe you get off script for 3rd down or a special occasion, but those look like plays that had been rehearsed, and we had, the big opening play. It would look to me like it was maybe a read to take a shot down the field, which was covered, come down to the running back, which was completely left open. What I don't like, and in both cases, I don't mind the 4th down, go for it early in the game, red zones. Like I was an aggressive coach. Like you coach to win the game. Like you score touchdowns there. We're having a different conversation right now. What I don't like is we didn't seem prepared with a play.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, we got a couple of people in here. Look, Denzel says, hey, they kept going for the 4th downs early, take the points. FSU got hella momentum. Look, I hear you. That first 4th down, I'm totally going for it. And then again, we're on the plus side of the 50 when we go for that second 4th and 1. So I'm not totally sure there. Bayou Boy says
I don't like that that first one where we got to burn a timeout, and then we come back with which looked like a regular middle of the field play, like we were trying to hit neighbors in the corner, and then you're going to come read something on the backside. Like you should have 2 or 3 2-point conversion plays ready to go. I mean, that's essentially where you are right there, right? You're on the 1 or 2 yard line. It's a 2-point conversion play. Like you go right to it. We shouldn't have to burn a timeout. Those are plays that they've rehearsed in that situation 100 times. That was a coaching mistake.
Yeah,
in my opinion, not questioning the going for it, just how it played out.
I thought it was super interesting because one of the things we talked about in the season preview was how improved this offensive line was going to be, and that sequence at the goal line and again in the other fourth one, and we kind of saw it all night. We really didn't run the ball well unless it was Jayden taking off with it.
Yeah.
Joshua says, "Hey, call a spade a spade. This LSU team is not good in the trenches. Quarterback play isn't good, and the play calling was terrible." But look, I'll say this: we did get bullied in the trenches.
Yeah, we got pushed around.
Both sides of the ball.
Early, I don't not early. I thought in the first half the defensive line
Defense was
dominated.
Yes.
Absolutely dominated. I loved what they were doing. They were a handful. I think not having Mason Smith, you saw we lacked a little depth. Those guys were just tired at the end. And Florida State, you could tell, went at halftime and said, "We have to commit to the run. What can we do? What do we have on the script and on the play sheet that we can run?" And you saw different formations, right? You saw that 30 personnel or three back, right? Two on one on each side of the quarterback, and then the fullback. And they were pulling guard, tackle, and the tight end with a lead blocker, and we just got worn down, right?
Yeah.
And they made a commitment to that, which now we've got to make an adjustment, which opened up those big receivers. And I know everyone's going to say, "Man, those guys had a big night." I don't think the DBs were in terrible position. Those guys just make great plays.
I thought the same thing. Like, I did not think our defensive backs played bad.
No.
Their wide receivers just played better. Also, they had like 6 inches on every single one of our defensive backs.
I mean,
and Jordan Travis laid the ball exactly where it needed to go on those downfield passes. So there's not much we could do.
We didn't. You saw a couple of times neighbors kept like looking back into the backfield, being like pointing up, like, "Hey, put it up. Give me a chance." Like it was like a back shoulder throw, but in front of them. And that's such a low percentage, throw and catch right there. So they seemed a little off. I was a little disappointed. We heard how much we were going to be taking shots downfield and this and that. Like I saw nothing vertical with Mason Taylor.
Yeah.
Nothing vertical. Everything was in the flat, off the RPO, the zone read. It just nothing looked creative.
From a quarterback standpoint, what did you see the couple of times Jayden did take a shot? I mean, he underthrew the receivers every single time.
Yeah, he didn't seem comfortable with it. Now, I'd like to look at the film, right? That he was in the pocket, right? I would need to see some replays to say, "Oh, there's a little bit of pressure in front of him." It's tough to make those throws, saying, "Hey, I got to stand in here and take the hit," those type of things. But he seemed a little off on his deep throws for sure.
Yeah. We got Tramal said, "Hey, LSU wide receivers had too many drop passes."
No doubt. But so did theirs.
Yeah. It was kind of the same, both sides here.
Yeah. You had a couple that stand out, right? The third down, the 2 third downs, the one where Thomas is wide open. It's a little underthrown ball, and when he drops it, those stand out. But they had them too, so they had a couple third down drops as well. So
look, John said, "Hey, what was apparent? Special teams gaff, red zone play calling, defense got exploited." But look, I'll say this: like, other than the Aaron Anderson muffed punt, which again to me, he just wasn't in position. Like he tried to catch the ball to his left shoulder instead of being under the ball. I thought we're
lucky the first one. I forget who it was, but the first guy caught the punt over his head.
Clayton,
I was like,
that
was the most dangerous thing I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. So they definitely need to tighten that up. I mean, the kicking game looked better. So from a special teams standpoint, like I don't know what the deal is. Is it mental with these punt returners? What's the deal? And also, like, our kick return unit, like, we didn't open up anything.
No, every time we made a return, it was getting. I mean, you should just take the fair catch. We had no return on the kickoffs. Look, we can sit here and say, because a lot of people make it look easy, but when you're standing back there to catch a punt and it's high and there's lights everywhere and there's 11 dudes running down the field full speed from 40 yards away, like, that's a little unnerving, right? And you got a new guy back there. It just takes time and practice.
Yeah. So
you look around week one, you see all kind of special team gaffes left and right.
All right. We got a lot of people saying, like, "Hey, Kelly was exposed." Brian here says Brian Kelly got out coached again. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, there's definitely a difference in the changes that were made in the second half.
Yeah, we
from
didn't
Florida
look. I
State
didn't
versus
think we
us.
made any adjustments. Really. I don't know that. Outcoach is such a. I don't like that word personally, right?
Yeah.
That sometimes you have the best plan, right? And I mean, I've always said sometimes your best coaching jobs are when you go 5-5, right? Those are tough years, and you got the Joe Burrow team. Like, I don't want to say it, but that's an easy team to coach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those guys go out and make plays. So I will say this: we didn't look motivated to play. We looked like we believed the hype. We were just going to roll out the SEC banner and the LSU helmet, and Florida State was going to sort of back down, and they just punched us in the mouth. And I didn't think you heard on several occasions them talk about how Norvell got the whole team together early on when they had penalties. He got the whole team together, right before the halftime. He got the whole. It was 2 or 3 times he got the whole team together, and every time the camera gets on Kelly, you sort of I don't want to say looks confused, not in the Les Miles way. Not like that. But you just didn't see any fire or passion from him. And I just think it trickled down.
Yeah. I find it interesting because last year we never quit. Not in any game. We never quit. Like in the Texas A&M game, we kept fighting. SEC championship game, Georgia was 1,000 times better than us. They had way more talent than us. And even when we were down by 3 scores, we were fighting, trying to make tackles, play hard. I watched the end of this game. Our guys quit, man. Like,
I think that goes to what I was saying. They believed the hype. They didn't expect this outcome. They didn't even think that it was fathomable. And, they just looked unprepared to be in a dogfight.
Yeah.
And when they got hit in the mouth, they didn't know how to respond.
Now, look, Tramal brings this up. I was going to bring this up as well. Say Hal Perkins Jr. was quiet. LSU had no pass rush. Yeah. Where the fuck was Harold Perkins?
I can tell you this, right? And they talk about like Harold Perkins has not been playing football very long. And last year, his role was pin your ears back and just go.
I saw him like lined up in the rushing position, like maybe twice.
Yeah, he looks uncomfortable in that middle linebacker position. I mean, all night he looks slow to react. He's trying to play too much football instead of just going out there and being the best athlete and turning them loose. Like, I didn't see him in on pressure. The whole half the plays, he's trying to spy the quarterback, and he's just sort of standing there at the line of scrimmage doing nothing.
Yeah.
Right. That's on the coaching staff. Like, that guy's not that big of a threat running the football. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't spy Daniels.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought we had pass rush from the D line early, but Perkins looked lost out there. Like, they're asking him to do things he can't do. He's thinking too much. He's just standing there. He just looked all out of sorts. They gotta revisit that, in my opinion.
From an offensive perspective throughout the game, first half, second half, what were you thinking about the scheme we rolled up? Where did it go wrong?
It looked like they had forced Daniel, and we talked about it earlier. Like, hey, how has he progressed as a passer? You're going to see him sit back there a little bit more. It almost looked like too much, right? They had drilled it into him. Hey, stay in the pocket, let it develop, this and that, and he didn't get out. And there were times I thought, man, he could have gotten out of there, but he checked it down to the underneath crosser, and we just didn't get a lot of value out of that. I loved early on in the game where they were going with sort of quick reads and quarterback design runs, right? It's a version of an RPO where, hey, we're just going to getting empty, no running backs, right? 5 receivers, throw some quick hitting routes, and you look at this one read. If it's not there, you go, right? And the line's going to block a run play up front. I love that stuff. That's what he needs right now. Yeah, it just looked forced that, hey, don't run, check it down.
How were his? I don't know if you were watching. Like, how was his? Reading his progressions or going through his progressions. Or
it looked good.
Yeah,
it looked like he found open guys. I mean, there was the interception. I mean, Neighbors falls down. It might have been an interception anyway. I mean, that DB looked in pretty good position. Maybe Neighbors is there to play defense at that point. But I had no problem with him. I mean, you wish you had that, as a coach, and you get this wide angle, it can see the whole field at any time. Like you can start to answer questions that maybe you don't see in a regular broadcast. But when they would show that, it looked like, we were looking at Neighbors. The safety was over the top. He was covered. He came down and checked it down or threw the out route. So I was fine with his progressions. There were just a few times where I'm not a big fan of that 2-yard shallow cross underneath where
like you saw in fourth down and 4.
Yeah, like I mean, if you saw that from the end zone replay, like number 15 who made the tackle, like he almost could have ended that dude's career.
Yeah,
like he was right in position. Like I didn't see any sprint outs, which I didn't like. Like let's get him out the pocket.
Yeah,
let's force that run.
It's almost like he tried to stay in the pocket to a fault.
Yeah. He'd been drilled too much. So, hey, stay in the pocket, check it down. Stay in the pocket, check it down. Let that guy go play football.
Yeah. How did you feel the offensive line fared against Florida State's defensive line?
Overall, not bad. I mean, that's one of the most elite defensive fronts that we'll see all year. I mean,
Jared Verse, he was badass.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they caused way more havoc last year. I think we gave up really one, I think I'm going to call true sack. So I thought they did good. I didn't think we got a big push in the run game, but I didn't see anything other than just some zone schemes. I saw no power, no counter, people pulling. I didn't see any of that. It was all zone read stuff. You can't hang your hat on that. At some point, you got to just say, hey, we need a yard, and this is what we're going to do. And I think you saw that commitment from Florida State in the second half.
And look, whether it was a bad game plan or not, okay, I feel what we really saw, and John here says it, Florida State's a really special team. Give them their due. As Kelly said it, we're still a couple years away. It looked to me, Florida State was just a vastly better team. More talented, more depth. LSU did not look like they belonged on the field with them, especially in the second half.
Yeah, I think this goes back to preseason type polls, right? We end the year, with this big bowl win, we were in contention just because we won the West, right? If we don't win the West, we're probably preseason ranked like 14. We're probably where we should be.
Right.
Right. And then you got this Florida State team who's 4 years under Norvell now. So you got an entire freshman class who's been through the process, and those guys are the leaders now. And I think you saw that, and it showed. And that team has that sort of chip on their shoulder this year. Like they feel it's their year.
Yeah. So look, this one's for you, our offensive guru. Dre Day says never changed from the single back formation, even when needing a few yards. Offensive play calling was bad.
I didn't see a whole lot of formation variation, period. Right. You had, I wish I had some like next gen stats, but Mason Taylor, which causes we talked about it in the pre-show, causes problems, but I'd love to see how many times he was split out wide versus in that true tight end hand in the ground or fullback set. But yeah, you never saw any big heavy sets, right? Bring in an extra lineman, bring in, 2 tight end sets or anything like that. It was our heavy set was 5 linemen, 1 fullback, 1 running back. That was it.
Yeah.
So that's that. Yeah. I went back to what I said earlier. I didn't see a whole lot of creativity in the formations. I didn't see a whole lot of any of that.
Look, I don't know who Tramal is, but this dude's reading my mind the entire show. I'm going to pull this comment up. Does Colorado have a better team than LSU right now? Look, Tramal, they do not. But I was going to ask Coach this. Coach, if Prime was on the sidelines tonight, do we win this game?
Look, I don't know, right? I'm a big Prime fan. If you don't like what he's doing, you're just too much. You're a baseball purist. You know what I mean? Like you're one of those baseball purists who, we can't do anything to alter the game. But like Prime's a new age coach. Like he did it at Jackson State, and he's doing it there. And it's a different way to do it.
Look, I'm a Colorado fan. I was thinking about getting me a bus hat to even wear post game here. Like,
how can you not be? Like, say what you want, and maybe TCU's not who they were last year, but that's fine. They were a 3 touchdown favorite. Yeah, and so Prime's got them on the road winning that game. And so, yeah. Now, does that mean, again, go back to what I said earlier. Let's not overreact by any win, and let's not pull,
So look,
let's not pull the emergency button.
We got 3 comments in a row. All makes me think about that Colorado game, and then I'm going to translate it to the LSU game. All right, so I'm going to get through these. Danny, if you can't run the ball, it's going to be a long game. Brian, we hadn't had a good running back in years. And Brian, again, is Emory ever going to play? So look, here's the deal. Emory's supposed to play not Grambling game, but the first SEC game, which I believe is Missouri in a couple of weeks. So 2 games in, I wouldn't say it's suspension, but he's not academically eligible yet to play. So 2 more games or 1 more game after this game, and then Emory's going to be in. But brings up the good point. We were talking about Colorado. That running back for Colorado was elite. I don't know if you saw him. He was fast as hell, shifty. Okay. And that brings me to the point. We do not have a good running back. We haven't had a good running back since 2019.
I think LSU's sort of MO has always been, and we've had some elite guys, don't get me wrong, but when we haven't had those elite guys, it's always been like, well, our offensive line is going to be so dominant. Really, anybody can be back there and get us 6-7 yards. You know what I mean? And this running back by committee thing.
But when you're playing a team like Florida State, you need someone who can make plays, right? Get out, get open, out talent some guy, outrun him.
I think my problem is that all of our running backs sort of look the same.
Yeah, they're all big.
You don't have slow. Hey, it's 3rd and 1. We need, or 3rd and half a yard. All right, here comes the big guy. He's going to just, even if you don't block somebody, he's going to get the first down, or it's 3rd and 8, or you're going to run a screen or whatever. So you got your shifty guy in. Like, all of our backs seem to be built from the same mold.
Do you think I could rush for more yards than Trey Bradford?
No. I don't. Look, I've known you for a long time. I know you think you can just go out there and beat Olympic sprinters. You can't. I don't know if when you'll go to practice one day and you'll actually see these guys in person and you'll be like, okay, never mind.
I think I could score 1 college touchdown and then I'm out for the rest of the year probably.
In what circumstance though? Like, sure, everybody watches the game. Sure, like you're going to run a quarterback sneak from the 1-inch line. Like, sure, maybe the line gets
like a little Les Miles swing pass around the end. Left side, follow behind the tackle. I think I could stiff arm one guy. You do it better than these fucking LSU running backs, that's for sure.
There's no doubt. Now, in fact, I'll call some people, see if I can get you in there. You have some eligibility left, right?
Yeah, I got 5 years.
Yeah, we got you. Yeah, sure. Everybody thinks that.
All right, Danny says we need to talk about LSU secondary because there's horrible performance. Again, Danny, we talked about this earlier. I don't know if you saw it. We don't necessarily think it was a horrible performance. They just got out-talented.
Look at that touchdown that
all the
Burns
touchdowns
gave up. He is in position. He's got his arms underneath that guy, in between his helmet and the ball, like he's supposed to. He's just given up 6 inches, and that guy made an elite play. You know, so I'm not selling any of those guys out right now. Like, I thought we had great coverage. You never saw anybody. There wasn't any bust except for on that one little last one down the sideline, but kind of at that point, that play's designed to do exactly what it did. You've been running that underneath quick bubble or out to the single receiver all game. They bite, you pump it. We used to run that and live on it. But I didn't see anything that was other than they just got outperformed.
Yeah, look,
they got out athleted.
Brian, I love the intensity here. But LSU football sucks, not going anywhere this year. They'll win a couple of games. I disagree. They don't suck. They're just not as good as Florida State in any way.
Yeah. Everybody like, where's the hype coming from? Right now, you've had this reality check. Pause for a minute and let's go back. Where's all the hype coming from?
Yeah.
Right? So this is year 2 for Brian Kelly.
So look, I'll be honest. My girlfriend kind of railed me on the preseason show that we released a couple of days ago because I did not talk about the ramifications for this game if we lost. All right. She says, hey, we need to hit the panic button. What are your thoughts? Do we need to hit the panic button?
Did we need to hit the panic last year button when we lost this game?
Yeah.
No, you were in the conversation at the end. So if you do what you're supposed to do, which is get better, like what if this Florida State team ends up going undefeated and being in the top 4 and being in this loss doesn't seem that bad, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe we can have our reality check and move forward, get better. You've got time. It's not like we're playing Alabama next week, right? We're not in the heart of the schedule. We don't have Georgia next week. Like, you've got some time to clean it up, coach these guys up, and just move forward. And if you run the table and Florida State goes undefeated, guess what?
Meet again.
You got a chance to probably play him again. So
yeah.
No, do you need to hit the panic button? Absolutely not.
All right. Was there anything that you saw during the game, offense, defense, special teams, where you like, shit, that's bad. We really need to fix that?
The use of Harold Perkins, I thought, was bad.
I thought it was atrocious.
Yeah.
I thought that was probably the most egregious thing we saw the entire
100%. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. I think our depth at D-line showed. He got the suspension with Mason. I think that was huge. Just having one or two extra guys being able to rotate in, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, we still aren't at full depth, I believe, with scholarship players.
I just the not in create. Our offense looked exactly like picked up right from last year. Like nothing looked different.
Do you think that's a scheme standpoint or Jayden not being able to?
No, that's a scheme standpoint. Like nothing. Like you'd look around the country. I don't know. You just, we looked so blah. I don't know what other word to use. Like our coolest formation was like a trips bunch formation. Like I think
it got a first down, by the way. I think that
I saw nothing schematically that like wowed or confused or just made the defense think. So
I hope that changes throughout the year because, as we tend to get more talent like this was the big concern with Denbrock being hired at LSU was that he was not necessarily creative. I mean, he was at Cincinnati before. Cincinnati had a good team. They were undefeated. I think
they went undefeated one year, huh?
Yeah. And but they had that quarterback that's plays for Atlanta now. I can't think of his name. He was really good. He ran over everyone and had some good receivers.
Yeah, when you have good dudes, you don't have to be creative.
Now, the conventional wisdom says LSU has good dudes. What's the problem here?
Well, there's a difference between good dudes and elite dudes.
Yeah,
that's true. If you go back and watch 2019, and I went back, actually was still coaching then and broke down every snap that LSU took and wrote down every play and schematically went through it. We weren't that creative. Like those dudes just made plays.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if you think about it, like who was our offensive coordinator? I can't think of his name.
Brady.
Yeah, Brady. What's he doing now?
I don't even know where he is.
Exactly.
I know he's been fired twice. So
Exactly. So it's kind of like
you had good plays with elite dudes, and it makes coaching easy.
Yeah.
So,
So if we look at it from that standpoint, like can Denbrock be more creative? You and I would both agree. Yes, we do need to change the scheme up. I saw that Jayden was getting a lot of backside pressure. Did you see that? Or like the running back was picking up that edge rusher?
It looked like we weren't giving our guys any help.
Yeah.
A lot of times like Mason would be set out. So he's not there to chip the guy. So, all right, let's bring him back in or put his hand in the ground, which makes the defensive lineman have to change his technique. He can't line up on the outside shoulder of the tackle anymore. He's got to come from the outside the tight end, right? So I saw no adjustments. They're doing this, let's do that. I just didn't see any of that.
Yeah. All right. Bright spots? Any bright spots for this game?
Yeah. I didn't see any, it was a clean game as far as penalties are concerned. Like no holding penalties. I think we ended with one penalty. Is that pass interference? Which I hate that when guy gets out the pocket, and they're both, everyone's got their hands on each other. Like that's such a terrible penalty, but that was good.
Mekhi Wingo looked really good.
He looked dominant. I think he just didn't have a chance to come off the field at times. Yeah. I thought the kicking game was good. I mean, some good punts, kickoffs were deep, field goal unit looked great. I didn't see any I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I saw a lot of games in week 1 where I got linemen going the wrong way. We only got 10 on the field, that kind of stuff. Those kind of things. You can build on that, right? We just got beat by a better team.
Yeah. I mean,
don't overreact that. That's all it is.
I thought the band was pretty solid, so that was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't even remember them showing the band, right?
They didn't, but they sounded good from this.
I didn't hear anything. I will say this. I thought that there was the 2-minute drill. We're going down, right? We get the long run, and he doesn't go out of bounds. That's a coaching mistake to me, right? I always used to start the 2-minute drill with the saying of the extra yard is not worth the extra second.
That cost us a timeout for sure.
Yeah, you had to burn a timeout. Like and if you don't have that timeout, like the half runs out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a huge coaching mistake. You've ran the ball 40 yards. Like, you're going to lower your shoulder to get me 43 yards? Like, get out of bounds. Those are coaching points that you can build on, right? And now you've been in this situation. That's why you see the improvement from week 1 to week 2. Look, there's a million things to go over. And sometimes you don't get to them all, or you can't address it as much as you'd like. So,
I just got a phone-in message here from Tegan. She says Florida State outplayed and outperformed LSU all night. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what better teams do.
Yeah.
They were a better team. As simple as that.
Yeah. All right. Before we get into kind of like looking forward, all right, let's make this night feel a little bit better. What was something you really enjoyed football this weekend? Let's look at all college football.
Just that it's back, right? It's something to do. I mean, you find yourself watching games, you're like, I don't even know who these teams are. There wasn't much in terms outside of
the only good game was
TCU
the Colorado game. Yeah. And then I watched Tulane last night. I'm watching Tulane.
First of all, yeah, can we? I mean, this is not the old days where there's this LSU Tulane rivalry anymore.
I don't
like,
think
if you can't tip your hat to what they're doing there, then like you just don't. Like, something's wrong with you. Like,
now I will say this: you're up by 20 points. Why is Michael Pratt still in the game?
All right, but they did that argument all the time, right? Any situation, like what is Florida State's quarterback doing in the game at the end, running a zone read? Like, he got hammered on like the 5-yard line. Like, so yeah, that's dumb. But like, how about Pratt's performance? 1 incompletion, 300+ yards. I mean, I know everyone's going to start typing in, right? Yeah, I wish LSU had that guy. Like, everybody relax. Right. Everybody calm down. Like,
he's good.
I think he's great. And it kind of goes back to preseason polls, what I talked about, right? Like, that guy's not mentioned in the Heisman. I bet he should be.
I'll say this: Tulane's offense was a hell of a lot more creative than LSU's this week.
Yeah.
But so, and look, and again, my highlight, I loved watching Coach Prime. I loved everything Colorado did.
Is there a better moment if you're a father out there listening? Like, your son's the quarterback. Your other son is the leading tackler of the game. Like, is there any better moment? Like, you're in an interview and like you got your 2 sons next to you. Like, if you can't root for that, then like, I don't know, you're just sort of mad at everything in general, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. Other than that, everybody else got smashed. We saw like 10 games of 70 points put up.
Yeah,
by teams. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah, I know Oregon scored like 80, I think.
Yeah,
81. I mean, that's no fun. I've been in those games. Like, it's no fun for anybody, even when you're scoring 80 points. Like,
schedule better. Like, they're playing some teams that they shouldn't be playing. Like,
I hope all this conference realignment stuff sort of takes care of that. And you can't get rid of those games, though, unfortunately, because a lot of those teams, like, they need that money, right? Grambling State next week needs that paycheck to help fund probably half that school's,
athletic
programs. Yeah.
So speaking of which, we have Grambling next weekend. Outside of their band being awesome, what are we looking forward to do against Grambling? How do we use this?
You're going to see a lot of the same, because you can work on it all week in practice, but you're not going to need any of that stuff to beat Grambling, right? So now you don't want to show Missouri, all the new stuff or all the corrections or all that stuff. So you just look in those games to like clean performances, get on, get out, don't get hurt. Like, your starters should be out by mid-3rd quarter. It is what it is. be clean. No
Yeah.
penalties, no procedural stuff, no delay of games. Like, just get in, get out. Like, this will be the toughest week of practice they'll have all year. They'll get coached harder this week than they will all year.
Philly, this is perfect. Philly came in here and said the Corey Raymond effect, we're going to miss him. I don't know. Our guys were in position all night. Again, we saw that.
Yeah.
Now, though, the interesting thing, and I did think about this, I mean, we do not have the big, tall, lanky defensive backs that we are used to, right? And I feel like that's where we missed out on a physicality standpoint in terms of measurables. That's what we missed in this game against those wide receivers. It wasn't positioning. It wasn't coaching. They were on them.
Yeah, I think those guys just made plays. I think you're used to guys who look like Thomas on, our receiver. Like, you're used to cornerbacks who look like that. And by the way, I think he's going to be the star of the year. Like, I'm saying it now. Like, Neighbors gets all the hype. That guy's a freak. He looks better. He looks better than people who looked apart.
I'm with you.
Like, he's going to
we got a Florida State fan in here. Predicted the 41-27. Said it was a bad matchup for y'all secretary. Of course, Coleman goes off for 3 days. P.S. Did Perkins play tonight? Go Noles. Fuck off, dude. No, I'm kidding.
Agree with all that. Like, yes, we all talked about that. You were the better team tonight. Don't know where Perkins was. He was the only time I heard him is when he got I don't know if he got a penalty at the end of the game or he did something. No, if you go back and watch that game, like, their Florida State linemen were able to work up to the second level and get their hands on him, and he just looked lost.
Yeah, I'm with you. So look,
hold on before we go any further. I just want to say this, and people who watch this, did you go into hair and makeup before this? I mean, you look great. Your hair's perfect. It's like 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock at night.
We had a
hair makeup session before this. The guy watching this who's 15 beers in doesn't care what your hair looks like, but you look good.
Look, me and my lady friend, we went and had some drinks this afternoon. We went to Cooter Brown's. Now that it said non-smoking establishment, I had a Bloody Mary, a couple of vodkas there. We went to Port Orleans, and we went some tacos at Barracuda. And
that's my favorite place right now, by the way.
Barracuda?
Yeah, I love Barracuda. We go there at least once a month.
I haven't been there all summer because it's been hot, but I decided today it was right down the street from Port Orleans.
That's what the cold margaritas are for. Anyway, we're off topic here. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, what else is there to talk about? We got all the Florida State fans coming in, rubbing it in our face, rightfully so.
Yeah,
guys, you smashed.
If you're gonna like have all the hype and beat your chest and have your coach make claims of, we're going down there to kick at, like, well, you better be able to take it on the chin.
Yeah, we're taking it on the chin. That's for sure.
Well, again, don't overreact. It's week 1.
All right,
let
so
the season play out.
What are the obvious things we can fix? Not necessarily say for Grambling, and we'll talk about this over the next couple of weeks, but before the SEC play starts, like that, you say, hey, we do this, we do that, we can clean it up.
You've got to establish a running game. I don't care. Like, you just can't. You can't rely on
our guys running game. Slow. They look slow.
Yeah, but your run game cannot be zone read. You cannot live on that, right? Give it right up the middle on zone, or quarterback pulls it. Like, you just can't live on that. Like, you've got to get some power run games going. So I hope if we can establish that and build that, then you can build on something. But you can't just live on zone.
Yeah, look, hey, Keyman says they're playing Perkins out of pitch and he needs to bulk up and play on the edge.
Yeah. He looks smaller. He looks different, right? Last year, he looked like a monster. And here he looks different. He cut his hair. Looks like maybe a smaller shoulder pads, like he leaned out or something.
He looked tiny.
He looked because he looked tiny because those offensive guards constantly had their hands on him. And those are big dudes.
He definitely looked thicker last year. I'll say that much.
Yeah, well, he was young, like probably had, didn't hit the gym as hard as he probably did in high school because he was just bigger and better than everybody. And,
Look, another Florida State fan here, 3 4th downs, and y'all went for it. Yeah, I mean, those were obvious 4th down plays to go for.
Yeah, look, I'm fine for it. You want to coach aggressive, like if you have a better play call, if you execute the play. I'm not looking. Florida State executed, right? It's 4th down. Someone's got to execute. They executed. If we execute and it's 28-7 at halftime, like, it's a totally different conversation. but they didn't. And so Florida State did.
Yeah, I mean, I think this game comes down to, again, like we talked about it, like we did not make the adjustments necessary at halftime. We didn't take advantage of maybe the positional battles that we could take advantage of for sure. And Florida State ran it down our throat and wore our asses out by the fourth quarter. You know, their wide receivers made plays. They were taller, like great throws by Jordan Travis, and we just couldn't hang.
Look, they just say whatever you want. They looked like the better team. And they were. And I think they showed it.
We got Big Nope Fan 64. This game down to one thing: you suck.
No doubt.
We did suck this game, Nope Fan 64. That's for sure.
Yeah.
K-Man also said Mason Taylor the only consistent player on offense. I mean,
he didn't do anything with him. He threw him the ball in the flat, like great off a zone read. Like where's the vertical passing game with the tight end and the mismatch that we talked about? Like I didn't see any of that.
Yeah.
You know, you want to talk about a positional mismatch? Like Florida State did not have these monster safeties.
Yeah, it was not great. We got Florida State was 9 for 14 on third downs.
Correct. They were 64% and 1 for 1 on fourth down, which was the big play. So that kind of, even though you didn't get off the field, they stayed on, and we were 30%.
Yeah,
and we talked about that in the pre.
10, unreal.
Yeah, we talked about that in the pre-show. Like third down conversions are early. The only reason they're even in it in the first half is because they get a 3rd and 12 conversion, and then the very next play is a 40+ yard touchdown pass to tie it up 7-7. If you get off the field there, you got a chance to go right back down, make it 14-0.
Yeah.
Third downs.
I'm with you. All right, Coach, anything else to add before we check out here?
No, I think I just can't stress enough. Like, don't overreact by anybody's win this week, and don't hit the alarm button just because your team lost. There's a lot of football left. A lot of stuff can happen. Just go back to last year. I mean, we end up losing, 2 or 3 more, and you're still in the conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
The landscape, this is not the old days of the AP poll where, you lose one, you're out, and that was it.
All right. Den Brock, here, listen to this. Let Jayden sling it, my man. Come on, push it downfield. And we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for joining in. Go Tigers.
Later.